Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and continuing the Pixar reviews. Now here's my review of Cars 2. So, what can I say about this movie that people haven't said already? It sucked. Oh my. I mean, seriously, what the hell was this? I mean, seriously, if you watch the first Cars movie, then you watch this. I mean, it's like they're two different movie genres. I mean, seriously, while the first Cars it was like more of a family picture, this one, this was just like an adult style action movie. And seriously, and it wasn't even that good. All right, seriously, this is hands down Pixar's worst movie of all time, and it's really like the only Pixar film that pretty much everybody would can. This is just pretty much the Pixar movie that everybody would say sucked. Yeah, this is like the only one that everyone would really say that. And seriously, this was such a bad movie. Honestly. We go from what the first film did, which was just a standard family style movie, to a spy movie. Seriously, this wasn't seriously what they decided to do. Seriously, and why did they actually decide to make a sequel to Cars? How many? They actually chose to make a sequel to this before doing anything for like Monsters Inc. or Finding Nemo, The Incredibles. They really chose to make a sequel for this before anything else. It's like that. Seriously. This was. Gosh, the plot for this was just absolutely stupid, and it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Seriously. Like Nostalgia Critic said in his Disney Summer review for this movie, what did the first film even have to do with spies? And seriously, like, really, was this just to try to appeal to, to adults as well? Because, yeah, there are a lot of adult spy movies out there, like the James Bond movies, and, yeah, and there are, of course, like, a lot of other ones out there, too. But seriously, this is supposed to be a family movie, okay? Little kids really aren't gonna be like spy movies are not for children, okay? And oh my gosh, this was just like such a bad way to go for the sequel to Cars. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's hardly anybody from the first movie has that big of a role in this one at all. Not even Lightning McQueen has as much big of a role in this as Mater does. And seriously, Mater, oh, man, he's just not funny, okay? Mater is he's more annoying than he is funny. Yeah. And this movie, it has the concept that a lot of other movies and TV shows have done. That you have the case of mistaken identity. And oh my gosh, it's tiring to see it all the time. And yeah, this was just such a bad thing to do. Yeah. 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 And both the Cars movies were under the direction of John Lasseter again, who also directed the first two Toy Stories and A Bug's Life. So yeah, I really don't know who's to blame for why the Cars movies really are Pixar's worst movies. I really don't know if it is John Lasseter, if it's the writers. Yeah, I just don't know whose idea was to do this, but yeah, this was just, oh man, this was such a bad idea, and it was such a waste of time for a sequel to do this. Why did they even make this movie? Oh man. Gosh. Yeah, seriously, considering the way the first movie ended and we had the beginning of the relationship between Lightning and Sally. This movie could have been more about the romance between Lightning and Sally. You could have done something like that. I mean, at least give it like something similar to the first movie. But yeah, like I said, just two different genres for the movies. I mean, first family, like a family movie, and this one just a spy action movie. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's like making a Chucky sequel where instead of any horror movie, instead of any horror about it, it just like becomes completely about his relationship with Tiffany and just a complete love story and no horror elements in it at all. I mean, it would make no sense, and that's what happened here. I mean, just the different genre for this movie made absolutely no sense. And yeah, I mean, it was not interesting. It didn't make sense. It's just stupid. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I would give this movie, I don't know, 2 stars out of 4. I mean, this was just, oh man, this was such a bad idea. Oh. Alright, so yeah, let me just get into it. I'm probably just gonna go through this real quickly because, I mean, seriously, I mean, just, there's really, yeah, I probably even have less to say about this than I did the first movie. I mean, I told you before that I really didn't like the first film that much, and yeah, I like this one even less. I mean, gosh, I mean, yeah, such a bad sequel. Yeah, so, yeah, I wouldn't really say this is like one of the worst films of all time, but when it comes to Pixar, this is just complete. Ugh. Gosh, I mean, this was really the only Pixar film I can say sucked. Yeah, because despite the fact I didn't really like the first film, it wasn't horrible, and I wouldn't really go so far to say it sucked, but this one, I do. I really say that this is a true stinker for Pixar. Gosh. So, okay, let me just get right into it. I'm just gonna zoom through this real quickly, because, yeah, I really don't have a lot to say about it. So, yeah, the movie opens with a spy car, Finn McMissile, who's voiced by Michael Caine. He's a British spy car, and he's infiltrating like the largest untapped oil reserves that is like owned by a group of lemon cars, and yeah, they discover him there. Now he tries to fight him off with some guns that he has, which doesn't make sense at all. I mean, how do cars even fire guns? I mean, oh gosh. And then he eventually just fled, and yeah, he just made them think he was dead. Yeah. And then yeah, Lightning McQueen he has become a 4-time Piston Cup champion. He returned back to Radiator Springs and gets to see all the other cars and with Mater, Sally, Luigi, Guido, Fillmore, Sarge, yeah. And yeah, I should also say like Doc doesn't appear in this movie at all. I mean, yeah, he's not in this movie. He's not even mentioned that much. I mean, they do mention him a little bit in the movie, but yeah, they don't really say what happened to him and why he's not really in this film. I mean, there's not one line that actually explains what happened to him and why he's not in this film. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah. And then, yeah, Lightning was like going to dinner with Sally, and Mater was for being their waiter, and yeah, they were tricking Mater to get them their usual drinks. And yeah, as Mater went back to try to get their usual drinks, and there was a on the TV it showed like the some cars setting for a World Grand Prix race. And there's an Italian race car, Francesco Bernoulli, and yeah, he challenged Lightning McQueen to the race. Ace at the Prix, who was led by Miles Axelrod. Yeah. And then Lightning and Mater departed for Tokyo, Japan with Luigi, Guido, Fillmore, and Sarge for the Grand Prix. And yeah, the first race was in Germany, as I said. Yeah. And yeah, the Lemons, who were led by like the evil Professor Zundap, plotted to get oil profits by using like extremely dangerous camera equipment that was discovered by Finn on the oil platform, and it would trigger Allenol, which was the fuel that was created by Axelrod, and it was also a fuel that the cars needed to race. Okay, so yeah, Finn and his partner Holly Shiftwell, who was voiced by Emily Mortimer, they planned to meet with an American spy car named Redline at the Grand Prix in Tokyo, and yeah, they were gonna try to get information from him about Zundap. But while Redline was being attacked in a bathroom by a couple of the professor's henchmen, and Mater realized he was in the bathroom and he was like trying to like get out of the way, but then and Redline slid his information onto Mater, and Mater then fled. As Redline was captured, and yeah, then Holly and Finn thought that Mater was the American contract they were looking for. And as the professor was confronting Redline about the information, and the professor and his henchmen and discovered that Mater had the information, so yeah, of course, then they also mistook Mater for another American spy. So yeah, they went after Mater too. And yeah, during the race in Tokyo, for the Grand Prix, there were several cars that were ignited by the cameras from the professor. And because of Mater receiving words from Holly and Finn, he was talking with them, and Lightning thought that it was advice Mater was giving him for the race. And that caused Lightning to lose to Francesco in the race. Nice. Yep. And then, yeah, Lightning was blaming Mater for him losing the race. And he was just telling him that just to stay away from his races. Yeah. And then Mater fled and he was going to go back home. But as he was at the airport, Mater was taken by Finn. And because, yeah, Finn thought that Mater was the American spy he's looking for. And yeah, he was just racing to his jet plane as some of the villain cars were chasing after him. And as they were trying to board their plane, the evil cars then shot out one of the tires for the plane's landing gear. And then Finn was hooked onto Mater's tow hook. And then he just told Mater to keep going no matter what, and then he was shooting back at the villains. And they eventually made it aboard the plane and escaped. And Finn and Holly discovered the information that was on Mater. And Mater fell in love with Polly. And he was just saying that they should go on a first date. And he was just like falling for Holly throughout the entire movie. And then they then decided to go to France so they could get more information from one of Finn's old friends. And it was kind of funny when they were like traveling in France, just driving along. It showed that they kind of made a reference to Ratatouille, They had a restaurant called Gusto's, but this Gusto's was spelled Tow. You like tow, like a tow truck. So yeah, kind of funny with the Ratatouille reference there. But yeah, that's really all that happened there. Yeah, and then yeah, they decided to after they got the information, they decided to travel to Italy next, where the next race for the Grand Prix was being held. Well, yeah, and then and Holly and Finn decided to give Mater a disguise so he could try to infiltrate some of the criminals was there, so it could help them get more info about them. So yeah, they just like to disguise him as the criminal's tow truck. Yeah, and as they were preparing, Aaron to disguise Mater, Finn was talking to Mater about about how good he is at being a spy, and he was saying that his act of being stupid is really working. Yeah, and once Mater heard that, then he was just like, yeah, he just looked at himself, and yeah, he was just feeling, and it hurt his feelings that he was being called stupid, and yeah, he knew that this was really who he was. Yeah, Mater himself knew, of course, he wasn't putting on an act, and that was who he really was. Yeah. And then, yeah, Mater then disguised himself as the criminal's tow truck. Yeah. Yeah. And, yeah, Mater infiltrated their meeting. And, yeah, during the second Grand Prix race, the explosive camera is being used on some more cars, which caused a bunch of cars to pile up, and yeah, it was down to Lightning and Francesco again, and Lightning ended up winning this race. Yeah, Lightning and Francesco didn't know what happened at first, and then they realized what did happen. And because of what happened, and Axelrod decided not require the last race to be run on Alanol, but Lightning decided to use it anyway. And at that point, then all the criminals decided to kill Lightning, and yeah, that ended up blowing Peter's cover. Yeah, and then yeah, all the evil cars went after Mater, Finn, and Holly. Yeah, and Mater tried to get Lightning's attention. He tried to get to Lightning, and Lightning did see Mater, but when he was going towards him, he thought it was just saw that Mater wasn't there and it was just another tow truck, and Lightning thought that he was just seeing things. Yeah, and then Finn, Holly, and Mater were all captured and abducted. And then later on, they were tied up in the Big Ben clock in London, which was where the final race was being held. And then Mater finally told old Finn and Holly that he's not a real spy. And that's how he was acting, is really how he acts. Yeah. And then, yeah, the evil cars then were trying to destroy Lightning by pointing a cannon at him from the clock, but yeah, he was covered and their shot failed. Their first plan failed, so they decided to go to plan B and destroy Lightning by the explosive camera that they had in him. But yeah, it didn't function. It didn't work, but there ended up being one in his pits. And then eventually, Mater, Finn, and Holly escaped. And then yeah, Finn and Holly discovered that the bomb was actually on Mater's air filter, and then they told Mater as he escaped and got to the other cars. Whereas at that point, Holly arrived along with all the other cars from Radiator Springs. Yeah. yeah, and Mater saw that he had the bomb. Yeah, yeah, Lightning then saw Mater and he tried to go up to him, but yeah, Mater just tried to get as far back away from Lightning as he could, so he was just backing up, but Lightning was continuing to give chase to Mater. And then, yeah, as the professor was about to start the bomb, tried to activate the bomb, it didn't work because, yeah, Mater just tried to get as far away from Lightning as he could, and he used some of the, like, rocket jetpack that Finn and Holly gave to him. Yeah. And then Finn eventually caught the professor. As the other cars were like trying to find Mater to stop him from going so they could destroy Lightning. Lightning and Mater, yeah. And then eventually, Finn, Holly, Mater, and Lightning were just all surrounded by the other cars. But, yeah, and yeah. The professor told them that the bomb could only be deactivated by the person that actually deactivated it in the first place. And it wasn't the professor, so. Well, yeah, they didn't know how to stop it. And with every failed attempt, the time on the bomb just kept reducing. And then, yeah, Mater then was just pointing to Axelrod as the leader of all the plot for the bombs. And he was using evidence to show that Axelrod was. And yeah, Mater confronted Axelrod, and then it just forced Axelrod to deactivate the bomb when it was on the last second. And then, yeah, it showed that Axelrod was the one behind all of the uh, uh, exploding cars. Yeah. And yeah, Axelrod and all the other evil cars were just then arrested. Yeah. And then Mater was then knighted from the Queen of England, who was a car. Oh my gosh, it makes no sense. Yeah. Yeah, and it was revealed that the reason the bomb didn't trigger on Lightning was because the Alanol was replaced with gasoline from Sarge. Arja. Yeah. And then, yeah, back at Radiator Springs, there was another Grand Prix race from the competitor, with all the competitors, yeah. And, yeah, Finn and Polly were asking Mater if he could join in them on another mission, but Mater ended up turning them down, and yeah, before they left, they told Mater that they would be back. Yeah. And it just ended showing the cars racing in the Grand Prix, and that's how it ended. So 2 stars out of 4. I mean, seriously, I mean, all the stuff with the spies. I mean, for the record, the stuff with lightning and racing, that stuff was just fine. But with all the spy stuff in here, I mean, it just made no sense, and it just really just ruins the film for me, really. I mean, if it wasn't about, if none of the spy stuff was in this, and it was like more focused on just lightning and this Grand Prix stuff, the film probably would have been a lot better. But just because of just the turn that this series took with the sequel, well, just going for all that like spy action stuff. I mean, it was just such a bad way for the sequel's plot. And yeah, it just really ruins the film, I'd say. Yeah, and gosh, I cannot believe that they're having another sequel. They're making a Cars 3. Seriously, I mean, why? You didn't need this sequel. The first film was just fine. You should have just had it with the first one. Shouldn't have made this sequel, and you shouldn't be making another one. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that sequel at all. But anyway, okay, so yeah, that does it for my review of Cars 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.